it should be good to go. So let me see. I should get a notification that'll pop up in a moment. Okay. So welcome. What we're going to be doing here. This is actually an image here. I was out with some people that I care about. But at Emory University, this is like a waterfall or whatever. I didn't realize they had this beautiful park on that campus. But yeah, that's there. So I actually got my notification. So let's take a look at what this is going to be. So today is the first day of class of 19 Fall 1 at GMC Fairburn. We're going to be doing pre-calculus. So we're going to start. Okay, so this is pre-calculus. My name is Mr. Pfeiffer. If you have like a laptop or a tablet, it's probably a good idea to bring that every day. That's probably a good idea. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to start off by taking a look at our Moodle page. So this is pre-cal right here. We're going to open it up. And so this is pretty much like our day-to-day, what we're going to be doing on any given day. I am going to go ahead and make a change. I'm going to kind of redo the same material that I did last time I taught pre-cal for my students. I really liked it. I thought it was interesting. And I went on to start it a little bit different because, one, we don't have a lot of time as a typical pre-cal course. And I'd rather get to the meat and potatoes. This kind of stuff that we're going to talk about, you only get in pre-cal. So when you go to calculus and the higher maths, they kind of expect you to know a lot of this stuff. So I'd rather talk about the stuff that we only get in pre-calculus, right? So, and that way we don't have to try to jam stuff in there. So again, so yeah, this Moodle page is pretty much be our Bible. The Moodle page actually has everything that we honestly should talk about in pre-cal. But honestly, like the first half of stuff in a typical pre-calculus class is a review of college algebra. So we're going to kind of bypass a little bit of that. It's like exponentials and logs, and we'll take a little bit to talk about some of this stuff as we go. But I'd rather start with this time. I just wanted to start with the topics that are unique to pre-cal, and we can do it this way, so it'll be fine. So we're going to bypass chapter 2 from our text, chapter 3, and I think we're going to start with chapter 5, right? We're just going to start here. All right, so we'll start at 5.1. It's angles. You can start here and, kind of get everything that you need to do. Okay, so are we all aboard? Are we all bored so far? Okay. So we're going to start again with chapter 5, and we're just going to go line by line. Notice that you see here, we already have like homework assigned. So 5.1, that's the work out of the book that I would recommend. But we'll talk about some alternatives and a few things here and there. So we're going to start actually with at the top. If you don't already have like emails, if you don't check your GMC email and have this stuff already forwarded to you, it's a good idea you want to have this stuff forwarded, your GMC email forwarded to whatever email that you check on a regular. That's the main way that we're going to be communicating is via our GMC emails. So let's start with the syllabus. It's actually at the top of our Moodle page. You see it says Syllabus Pre-Cal 2019 Fall. So we're going to click there and open that up. And let's take a look at it. So again, this is our syllabus. This is Math 112 Pre-Calculus. I am Mr. Pfeiffer. My email is cpfeiffer@gmc.edu. That's the best way to reach me. Yeah, I'm not going to worry about that. I think it'll be okay. If I get in any trouble, I'll change it. I don't think I have anything sensitive here. I'm just thinking because like we're live streaming, so I was like, I think it's okay. It'll be okay. So this number that you see, this is from my office phone number. I pretty much don't check those emails. I try to redirect you back to my email. The best way to reach me, you can pretty much call that number just to see if I'm in my office, but I don't really check those voicemails. I try to redirect people back to say, hey, send me an email. Because then I pretty much get emails like text messages. I'm a little tech savvy. I feel like I should probably upgrade or update that statement. If I'm live streaming, I mean, that's a little bit more than just a little tech savvy. But what I say that because when you email me, it actually comes onto the home screen of my phone. So I get emails like text messages, but just because I get an email like a text message doesn't mean I'll respond like a text message. I'll respond as soon as I can, as quickly as I can, right? So, but again, the best way to reach me is via email. Yeah, I'll see it. If it's a quick response that I can do, I will do it because a lot of times I'm out driving and doing all sorts of things. Else, I'll respond as quickly as I can. My office location is actually down the hall. It's building 208A. That's my office location. These are my office hours for this quarter, okay? So I actually had some this morning, right before class. It's pretty much, my office hours are pretty much like right before class. And I think it's after class here as well. Yeah, so right after class as well. So I just go back to my office and I'll hang out until my next class for an hour. Other times by appointments. But my office hours, you don't have to schedule, you just show up. Just show up, right? So if you need help, I want to say the tutor should be able to help you with this. And I know that, like, because you kind of get it from me on a day-to-day, it can become, you kind of need multiple perspectives. What's a good idea, if you haven't done so already, it's probably a good idea for you all to either start like a group me, or you definitely want to have the contact of at least 2 or 3 different people in all of your classes, right? So I don't know if however y'all wanted to work that out, but that's definitely a good idea. And the sooner you can kind of jump on this information, the better experience you'll have. How do we learn, or how do you learn mathematics? How do you learn mathematics? Go ahead.
I take notes and write down exam.
Mm.
And not just one example.
So angles, repetition basically, right? You said not just one example, but multiple examples, right? So that's essentially what I was looking for, right? So mathematics is all about pattern recognition. If you do something once, can you pick up on the pattern?
Well,
No, right? You got to do it as many times as you can, right? So the more repetition we get in, then we can see the nuances, and then we can pick up on the pattern, And so, I mean, this topic is a little interesting, but I did a trial run with my students last time, and they were able to get through it. It's manageable, but you definitely want to, once we get going, you want to go ahead and get started. If today is Tuesday, if not this Thursday, definitely next Tuesday, be on the lookout for a quiz. So if we're going to start with 5-1, you want to kind of be ready to just a light quiz, something I got to get something in the grade book ready to go, right? So if it's not this Thursday, definitely next Tuesday, just be ready for a light quiz. I have to start recording grades and things. But yeah, so I say that to say, and you guys, you've at least made it through college algebra, so that's no small thing. So at this stage, I feel like it's probably being redundant, but long story short, best way to learn, only way you really learn mathematics is practice and repetition. Practice makes what? I would actually beg to differ. One of my mentors would say practice actually makes improvement. If it made perfect, then we all know what happens when we stop practicing. What happens? Our skill level goes down, right? So practice doesn't make perfect, practice makes improvement, or continual practice, we have moments of perfection, but you have to continually keep working at the craft, right? You can't just stop and like, I got it. It's like, no. Another one of my mentors would say things like, don't do it until you've gotten it correct. Do it so many times that it's impossible for you to get that wrong. You see the difference between the two? So what that means is, like, when it comes to the exam, even if you do this, don't say it to your professors, but like if it's the day of the exam, don't come in the day of like, oh, Mr. Pfeiffer, I stayed up all night finishing that homework and I finished it. And in my mind, I'm like, that stuff has been up since the beginning of the quarter. So that means you procrastinated instead of taking the initiative and working on it early. And so then I was like, that means that a lot of this stuff was the first time that you saw it, so you're not going to be proficient. So it's not about completing the homework. It's about having done as many versions of it as you can, as many repetitions, so that you can't get that stuff wrong. Does that make sense? So even if you do stay up the night before cramming, just don't tell your professors, all right? Because I know for me, that kind of, I'd be like, you procrastinated on my work. That's not a good look. It is for a grade. Yeah. It's the lowest weighted graded item on the syllabus in the grading scale, but it's the most important thing. So I intentionally make the weight of the homework a low weight. But honestly, since you have the homework, what do you actually have in advance? Practice. So because you actually have access to the homework, what do we actually have in advance? As far as my classes are concerned, you actually have your exams in advance. What does that mean that I'm going to do? That's it. That's all that I do. And I explain this to the students every time, and they act surprised. And I'm like, I keep saying this. Like, all I do for your exams is I go through the homework, I choose a few questions at random, and then that's your exam. So it's just to see, hey, I'm just trying to see, have you been practicing or not? That's it. It should be the exact same thing. Just I change the numbers around. That's it. All right? Does that make sense? My professors have done that all the way through graduate school. They do that. And it's, you're really just trying to inspect what we expect. I expect you to do my homework, all of it, and then some. It can be a lot, but the real way to manage it it's just a start early, and you have to kind of like, okay, if I'm trying to finish these 2 sections, I need to do this many questions at this rate. You have to just kind of plan it out and, plan it out. I'm going to end that discussion there and kind of keep moving forward. Are we all aboard or are we all aboard? Okay, we're all aboard. Okay. So we meet Tuesday and Thursday, basically 9 to 11, 8:55 to 10:50, so about for 2 hours. We're just going to do the whole 2 hours, no breaks or anything like that. It really should not be an issue, but if you do need to take a break, you can just leave. You don't have to like ask permission to leave. Just go to the restroom. But we can only have like one person out at a time. Let's kind of limit our time away from class to 10 minutes, and know that when you leave, somebody else might be waiting on you to come back. Because if we can only have one person out at a time, then somebody could be waiting for you to come back. So try not to be gone too long. But that's usually not an issue with this course, but we have to kind of have that disclaimer. How many students are comfortable or familiar with Starfish? Starfish, have you used Starfish? So I'll make this your first extra credit opportunity. If you go ahead and load like your photo or an image of yourself and like fill in your information on Starfish, you bring it to my attention, I'll give you extra credit. The way I do extra credit, I do a point-based system. You can earn potentially up to 100 points extra credit, and I'll scale that to 10% of your grade. So at the end of the quarter, if I can, again, I got this on recording, so if I can apply the extra credit, I will. But sometimes what happens at the end, when I go to apply the extra credit, it skews the grades way too much. And then I was like, no, I can't do that. But it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it, right? That's how extra credit works. So like say you were to somehow max out your extra credit, you earn all 100 points throughout the quarter. And I usually give extra credit out in like 5-point increments. And it's also a good idea to try to keep track of your own extra credit. I log it as I go, but it's probably a good idea for you to keep track of that as well. But at the end, say you max out, you get your 100 points, then what I'll do is I'll scale it to 10% of your grade. So you can finish at a 72. If you max out your extra credit, you potentially could be boosted to an 82. It could potentially boost you by a whole letter grade. So again, if I can apply it at the end, I will. And I usually keep a log of that stuff as I go. But the first extra credit opportunity, log into Starfish, load your an image of yourself, and just fill in the profile information. Just fill that in, okay? Just something professional, like nothing like that. Just where it's clearly you. You know what I mean? So we meet here in room 207. Prerequisite is a CA better in college algebra or placement exam. So this course is going to be an in-depth study of topics in algebra and trig. We're going to actually skip the algebra and start off in the trig. And we're just going to kind of focus on the trig, and again, because of the spiel that I gave when we first connected. Yeah, okay, we're going to let that be. So I'll let you kind of go through the learning objectives on your own. This is also kind of like a play-by-play. Again, we're going to be starting with the trigonometry part. So our book is Precalculus 10th edition by Sullivan. So we have some online aids. So right now I'm actually streaming live on this YouTube channel. I think this is proper. Yeah, so just go. So we're going to be using YouTube. I use this platform as a way of doing live tutoring long distance. So what I'll do is, like, if you have a question, you can either see an image of your question, like a picture, or we'll have a free way of accessing some online work. You can do a screenshot. Actually, if you're in Pearson, you just click on the Ask My Instructor, and it'll send me a screenshot of the very question you're working on, and then I'll load it to my tablet, and I'll make a dedicated video walking you through any question that we talk about in class that you ask, right? So that's what I use YouTube for, just as a catalog of like different videos and things of this nature. So shameless plug, you want to go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, okay? Shameless plug, okay? And go ahead and turn on all your notifications. Once we're done with the course, if you don't want to have notifications from me anymore, you're more than welcome to turn it off and all that kind of stuff. But while we're in class, while you're as one of my students, I need you to be subscribed to that with your notifications turned on. Okay. Again, the math tutors are available in the white building. Are there any questions? Let me pause for the cause. Okay. All right. There was something else I wanted to mention. Yeah. So we have this interactive math in Khan Academy, and that's fine. We talked about the YouTube. Also, we'll more than likely will be using my math lab. I'll mention that. We'll mention that a little bit later in the syllabus. I have a free way to access my math lab. You don't have to pay for that. It's really just for practice, and even if you use it for like your homework, you just want to have a copy of the work that you do, right? So the way I'm going to check your homework is going to be the day of the exam. You're going to bring your homework notebook. So like if you're working from online, you have a couple of options. You can either write down each question, write the original question, and then write your supporting work, box your final answer, and do that for everything that's online that you'll see. Or if you're working online, you can just print it out. It can be a lot of printing, so you decide how you want to work it. But I just need to, the day of the exam, I need to have a copy. I need to see a copy of the practice that you've been doing. So you just want to be neat and organized. Label your chapter, label your section, label each question number, have a copy of the original question, and then have a copy of your supporting work, and then your final answer in a box. That's pretty much how the presentation that I do, that's pretty much what I do. A copy of the original question, any supporting work, and then I box my final answer. That's usually how that goes. And that's what I expect from you on the exams. Our exams are pretty much multiple choice. I try to keep it to multiple choice as best I can. So that has its pros and its cons. I just kind of as a heads up. Okay. So yeah, so that's that. The tutors are in the white. Kind of let you kind of do that on your own. So let's go ahead and anticipate weekly quizzes. Like if not on that Thursday, definitely on the following Tuesday. But once a week, we need to have a light quiz. I won't always announce it. Sometimes I might just put one question on the board, but we need to kind of get some feedback going. All right. So either Thursday or Tuesday, just kind of be ready. And it'll be light, but again, we want to inspect what we expect. They might be on I don't want to do Pearson because I'm not going to do that just yet. Let's anticipate 3 in-class exams and a final. I think we have the schedule on Moodle. Let's switch back to Moodle really quickly. Let's go like this. So the dates here are good. It's just the material we're starting at chapter 5. So this is week 1. This is the 16th through the 18th. So on and so on. So the dates are there, but we're going to start with chapter 5. Week 3 is when we want to anticipate exam 1, like probably that Tuesday of week 3. So I'll try to get you some feedback before then. Yeah. So exam 1 will probably more than likely over chapter 5, so on and so on. Okay. Let's go back here. So, but yeah, we can anticipate 3 in-class exams and a final. And we'll have some other surprises and things of that nature as we go along. The grading rationale is as follows. Quizzes are going to be 10% of our grade. Homework and class activities, we can do 15%. The 3 in-class exams, 45%, and the final is 20%. Let's see, 50, 60, 70. Are we missing something? Do these numbers add up properly? 50, 60, 70. What's going on with the numbers? Are these right? They only go up to 90, right? So we need another 10. I did 3 there. I don't really want to do that, but that one. We need another 10. I can boost the homework and then quizzes. I'm trying to think if I want to do that or not. Give me a moment. So if we need 10, I'll probably boost the homework and quizzes. So if I need to, yeah, like 15 and 20, right? We'll let the homework and class activities be 20%, and then quizzes be 15%. Let me go ahead and do that now, and then here. So this is Precalculus. I have it somewhere. Here. This is what? There it is. This one. Precalculus. Hopefully, I don't think I have anything here. Date. It's this one. Okay, and then, so we need to change that grading rationale. Just go ahead and do that. No, does that not work? We said we're going to make that one, what, 15? And we're going to make this one, what, 20? Okay. So you can just, I'm trying to think of how to quickly, let me at least do this. Export as a PDF. So I'll tell you where I'm going to put this. Oh no, got all my business out here. Right here. Come on. This one. This one. Precalculus. Files, the syllabus, right there. You're going to give me the option to replace. Upload. Okay, I'll do it later. So yeah, just you have to make that change on your own, and then if you can't see it, then just let me know, and I'll you know. But we're gonna let courses be 15, and the homework is gonna be 20, and I think that'll work. Let me see, 45, 65. There's nothing missing, right? Yeah. 45, 65. Did that work? 45. So 65, 70, 80. There it is, 100. Okay. So yeah, we made those changes. We'll get that going. So the grading scale is basically 90s are A's, 80s are B's, 70s are C's. Officially passing a typical college course is a C. So, you know, nobody's really going to stop you if you get a C. A D, then sometimes some programs accept D's and some don't. All right, but we're not going to play that game. We're going to be in the A's and B's. That's where we're going to be, right? Okay. Okay. If you need special accommodations, the Office of Disability Services will give you a letter that you can discreetly give to me, and we can make sure that you're accommodated. So if you need like more time or things of that nature, yes. Books, okay.
You want books?
Um,
You want me to wait?
yeah, can you just give me like 10 more minutes? Yeah, yeah. Because I didn't want them saying your name over. You see what I'm saying? Oh, because remember we're still streaming, so I was like, let me just try to finish up the syllabus, and I'll try to get her to come back. But yeah, they'll give you a letter to give to me, and I can make sure to accommodate you. Real quick about ethics. I don't really think it'll be an issue because we have a nice intimate class. But what's the time? Yeah, here it is. That time is not right. But I just want to say this: like there have been cases where people have, gotten their degrees, they've graduated from college, they've gone into their careers, they've gone into their professional careers, and they're making money for their livelihood and things. And then the services that they cheat, then they never got credit for that course, then they lose their qualifications, then they lose their degree, they're no longer qualified for their job, then they can't work at their place, then they have to go back, and it's hard. It's all this kind of stuff, and it's just totally not worth it to go down that path. So if students decide that they want to walk that path, we'll walk it together. But a lot of times, if you take a fraction of the energy that students put into being nefarious, if they take a fraction of the energy and actually just do the homework, it's nowhere near as much energy, and you get so much. The results are so much better, in my opinion. So, long story short, it's not worth it to cheat. But if students decide to walk that path, we'll just have to walk that path together. But it's not worth it at all, even in life. Anyway, but maybe I'm missing something. Attendance. So the way I usually do attendance. Do you mind starting an attendance roll for me? A blank sheet. Just put pre-calculus, today's date, and that's it. And then just start it. I'll take attendance as soon as I close this out. So if class starts at 8:55, we get out at what, 9:15? 10:50. He should good. See, he knows he's recording. He's like he didn't try to. Oh yeah, we get out at 9:15. Y'all get a whole hour. But no. But yeah. So if class starts at 8:55. So if it starts at 8:55, there's a 15-minute window. So if it starts at 8:55, I'll give you until whatever 15 minutes, 8:59, 9:10, right? So after 9:10, so from 8:55 to 9:10, if you show up during that time period, then I'm going to mark you as late, right? And then after 9:10, I'm going to mark you as absent. Even if you show up, I'm just going to leave it as absent, because I've been trying to do the whole excuse things, and students have just been not really doing it right. So I have to mark students absent that show up after 15 minutes. So what this means, how many unexcused absences are we allotted in any course at GMC? It's 3, and then on the 4th one, we're automatically withdrawn. So, and then for my class, for my class, three tardies equals 1 unexcused absence. So if we only did lates, how many tardies could we accumulate before we're automatically withdrawn? Yeah, 9 is going to be 3 unexcused. Then once we accumulate that 4th unexcused absence, then we're withdrawn. So I guess you could do 11, and on the 12th one, right? But yeah, so I just wanted to make that disclaimer about attendance. So again, if class starts at 8:55, just get here early. I usually try to do something interesting, like a riddle. If you have riddles or things, I can do one a day, and I might consider doing something with that. But if you have riddles, you can bring them in. We can talk about them, brain teasers, things of that nature, until class starts. I try to get in here early and get set up. I like to honor the time. Time to me is one of the most valuable things, quote unquote, because I really don't believe in time, but because time is funny. Like, how is that time is supposed to be like moving forward and it's constant, and you're not supposed to be able to change it or rewind it? But then how do you explain daylight savings? Like, if it's supposed to be this constant, how is it at a whim? Oh yeah, we're just going to change the time. Because it never existed. As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't exist. What is 8 a.m. to a squirrel? What is a Wednesday to a dog? It doesn't mean anything. It's just cycles. It's just how I feel about it. It doesn't. I'm not really being serious right now. I just like this. Every time I think about it, I'm like, either the sun is up or the sun is down, and then you have the seasons. I have this burning thing about time as a man-made construct, and it's just about to think about it. It always makes me giggle. And so it's like, I'm saying all this because for the longest, like, I would wake up in the middle of the night and then I would try to force myself to go back to sleep. Like, no, I gotta get my 8 hours of sleep, really trying to stick to the time. And I'm like, then it dawned on me, I was like, this is ridiculous. I was like, no. And so it's like, some of my studies say that, like, as humans, we're supposed to be like up with the sun and down with the sun. But then I like met somebody and like, they basically just live their own rhythm. And so that's pretty much what I do is, like, when I'm up, I just go ahead and get up. And then if I'm tired, I try to find some way to rest, so I try not to I stopped trying to force myself to sleep. So it's like, because it just was not working for me. So, but when I just decided to walk my own path and do my own thing, my health improved dramatically. It was much better. So I don't really believe in time, but I consider myself a master of time because it's easy to master things that don't exist. You just kind of plan ahead and then you can kind of take charge of it. So I say that to say, if class starts at 8:55, I usually try to get here early. We're just going to do our best to honor the time, right? Because again, if we look at time as real, this time at 9:31 on Tuesday, October 15th, we don't get this time back. I can never repeat this moment in time. You see what I'm saying? That's why it's so precious. Like, we have loved ones in our life. There's limited, the time we have with everybody is very limited. It's very precious. To me, it's more precious than money. So that's why we're going to honor it. We're going to let that be. So we talked about the attendance, things of that nature. GMC events, you'll be notified if we're not having class. So this is why it's important to, like, have your GMC email forward to whatever you check, so that if there are like any kind of emergencies or things, or we need to communicate, you'll get the notification and you won't be in the dark. We're going to let that be. Let me see. I think the faculty initiated withdrawals are, I think, the 4th unexcused absence and the automatic withdrawal. If you're feeling uneasy, I think you have until, I think it's the end of week 7. If you're not feeling like you might make it through, then you have the, you can withdraw and have a W. But you just want to be aware that, like, withdrawals can affect financial status and other little things. So, you just want to do the best you can. Be in high communication. Don't be afraid. I can be a little intense, but that's just my style. I don't mean anything by it, But just don't be afraid to ask questions, things of that nature. Okay, any questions? Okay. All right. And definitely make use of office hours. My students in the past that have had the most success in my courses, one, they make sure to do every question. I've had students that make sure to do each question at least 3 times on my math lab, because every time you click it again, it'll give you the same question with different numbers. So if they've done each question at least 3 times, by the time they get to the exam, they've done enough repetition. So they've done so much repetition, they're like, oh, I did this so many times, I'm good to go. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that repetition is how the students in the past have succeeded in my course. Okay, I'm going to let that be. I just want to read this really quickly. A syllabus is not a contract between instructor and student, but rather a guide to course procedures. The instructor reserves the right to amend the syllabus when conflicts, emergency, or circumstances dictate. Students will be notified. I think for our discussion, the syllabus is pretty much set. You can kind of hold me to the syllabus. But like for instance, like how the grading scale was off, I obviously had to adjust that. But yeah, we have a recording of whatever. So now this page, oh no, you probably can't see that. I'm probably better off the other way. But this is a document there actually is a Pearson. By show of hands, has anybody used Pearson before in here? Pearson online? Okay. So Pearson is an online learning tool. If I had my way, I would just include it in your tuition, and I would make this the go-to for how we learn. This is a very powerful tool. It has when you log in, let me just do a quick demo on Pearson. So let me go ahead and log into my account so you can see. Yeah, that's it. Any Apple people in here? Apple, iPad or anything? Did you do the update? Dark mode. So this little keyboard you see popping up is like you can on the iPad you can do a one-handed keyboard. I was like, oh, and did you see my favorite feature that I'm so glad Apple did? Shameless. I'm doing marketing for Apple. It really gets under my skin, but the swipe. Now Apple has you can actually swipe. Yeah, I'm so glad about that because I was going out of my way to install like the Google keyboard just so I can get the swipe. But now Apple has finally introduced swipe on the native keyboard so you can actually swipe. I was like, finally. I was like, come on. It's like y'all supposed to be the best and y'all don't have swipe as an option. I was like, come on, what is that? All right, so this should load. Yeah, yes. So I like these updates. I'm kind of geeking. Trevor Noah. Anybody watch like the Daily Show with Trevor Noah? So he had a joke about Apple products. It was like there was a article. It was like Apple was the first company to gross $1 billion of revenue in like a year, like in 1 year or something like that. And so he was like, "Oh my God, this is amazing! How did Apple gross $1 billion of revenue?" So he's like, "I took out my iPhone and I was like, hey, SISR, because I don't want myself to activate it. I'm like, hey, whatever. How did Apple gross $1 billion?" And he's like, I couldn't find anything. So I was like, I got on my iPad and I was like, how did Apple gross $1 billion? I was like, man, I can't figure this out. So I got on my MacBook Pro and I was like, how did Apple? I got on Safari. You see what I'm saying? All his stuff was like Apple devices. It was a bad joke anyway. I didn't do it right. but it was just, I thought it was a funny joke. And honestly, that's exactly what's happening because all my stuff is Apple. I'm trying to like break out of it, but that's how it's going. Anyway. So let's look at Precalculus. I just want to do a quick demo on Pearson, just so you can see the capabilities. So honestly, when you log in, it should look something. Do I have any? I don't have any. Let me go ahead and assign something. Matter of fact, I might just leave this stuff as is. I don't want all of that to show right now, though. Let me go to manage. Change date and assign status. So let's go ahead and change from all of this. Well, actually, I'll leave that, but I'm going to get rid of all of this, the rest of this stuff. Come on. Nope. Yeah, everything seems like it's working pretty smooth today, so I'm proud of the equipment. I always feel some kind of way when people say, this thing is this stupid calculator, stupid whatever. I'm like, it's a machine. It's just doing what you tell it to do. But anyway, that doesn't really mean anything. I want these to, are they already on? No. I want these to be unassigned. Apply to selected. Gonna give that a moment to update and then update all settings. Cool. So now, when you log into Pearson, again, this is optional. You don't have to use this, but I still want to make it available. So right now, I already have all of Chapter 5 loaded, right? So let's look at 5.1 on Pearson. I'm just going to go ahead and open up that section. So you see on Pearson, we have 32 questions. What's your favorite number, 1 through 32? 3. I can get down with that. It's a divinity, it's Trinity, it's like the Holy Trinity. We're in the third dimension. 3 resonates with this realm highly. So what is this 5.1.3 in the upper left-hand corner? What does that mean? It comes from section 5.1, question number 3 at the end of that section. So these questions that I pulled from Pearson, I usually include the question ID, and that tells you exactly where in the book it's coming from, right? So if you're lost, you can like flip to the book, and it's there. Now it says, like, let's look at this one. This one says, complete the statement below. An angle theta is in blank if its vertex is at the origin of a rectangular coordinate system and its initial side coincides with the positive x-axis. Anybody know the answer to that? An angle theta is in blank, blank, if its vertex, blah, blah, blah. Anybody know the answer? Let's look at some choices. Is it in the initial position, standard form, standard position, or terminal position? Terminal. Okay. So suppose we're working and we don't know, right? This probably is not the best one. Let me choose another one because I know it's not going to have all the features. Let me go to the next one. Not that one. Something, not that one. Maybe I should jump to the end. Let me jump to the end. Something like this. Okay. So like this one says, find the area A of the sector of a circle with a radius 60 inches formed by a central angle of a third of a radian. Suppose we get that, we have no clue as to how to go about solving this, right? For the following reason, again, what section does this come from? 5.1, question number 79 from the back of that section. Suppose we get this and we have no clue what to do. So for this little box in the upper right-hand corner, you see that question help in the upper right-hand corner? That little thing there is why I vouch for Pearson. This is why I try to get the students to do it. So I'm going to click on that and let's look at some of our options. So you see we have this, help me solve this. I don't really recommend that one, but the view and example, that's a very powerful tool. Basically with the view and example, it'll give you the exact same questions with a different number and it'll walk you through step by step on the logic and the reasoning behind that question. So it'll give you the same question with a different set of numbers and it'll walk you through it. So then once you kind of go through the view and example, let's take a look at it. So like with this one, you know, we're here. It's the exact same question. The numbers have changed a little. And so I'm just going to hit continue. It says 2 parts remaining, 1 part remaining, and then we're done. So it explains, you see it gives us the formula. Then it just pretty much explains how to approach that question. For this reason, this is why I try to get the students on Pearson, right? So if you really want to know, you have an explanation for each and every question that we do, right? Here's another reason why I vouch for this system. So not only do most of the questions have view and example, this one has a video, right? So you can do a video to kind of, a dedicated video to kind of explain the situation. So again, it's all about pattern recognition. And the best way to pick up on a pattern is to see it from as many different angles and perspectives that we can, right? So we have a video, and then what is that, the orange under video, what does that say? Textbook. That means it comes with a digital textbook that you can access. That means that book that you carry, is that the 10th edition by Sullivan, is that right? Is that 10th edition by Sullivan, that book? Is that the one that you all are supposed to be using? So I'll try to get her to come back. It'll take you to that section. It's a digital ebook. It's a copy of the entire book, but it's digital. So as long as you have internet access, you can pull up the actual textbook. It takes a little bit of getting used to kind of viewing a text on like our devices or whatever. But I think that's a very powerful thing. So it's like you can be out, and if you want to work, you know, you can work. You don't have to carry around the book and all and everything, you know. I need to turn. Let's do like this. That's gonna mess it up though. Airplane. Where's that one? Oh, the moon. Thank you. Hopefully that doesn't mess up the recording, and it shouldn't. And I can still go on the web and stuff, and I'll start getting my notifications. Yeah, that's what I need. You guys are awesome. See? Yeah, that's what I need. It's no notifications right now. Let's see. But yeah, the e-textbook, and then so. Okay, good. Okay. I'm trying. But yeah, the Ask My Instructor. Like 5 more minutes. A few more minutes. I'm sorry. Ooh. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. So the Ask My Instructor, it'll send me a screenshot of the very question you're working on. So for those reasons is why I vouch for Pearson. Let me go back to the syllabus and try to wrap it up. So I'm going to give you a copy of this, a printout of this, so you can access it. But this is on Moodle. And then the last thing is this last page of the syllabus. It's a document that says you've gone through the syllabus, you understand what's expected of you out of the course, and that you'll abide by the rules of the course. I'm feeling a little generous. I like you guys' energy. You got me in a good mood. So you actually have 3 extra credit opportunities out of the 100 that I'm considering today. We mentioned one earlier about Starfish. If you go ahead and register for a Pearson, I'll give you extra credit for that. So if you bring that to my attention, and then this last page of the syllabus, you fill it out, I'll give you extra credit for that. So I'm open to honoring those 3 extra credits today, first day right off the rip. That's 15 points out of the 100 right off the rip that you can actually get, okay? So any questions about anything before we shut it down? So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to, did you have a question? Oh, so it's just a document saying that you've gone through the syllabus, you understand what's expected of you out of the course, and that you'll abide by the rules of the course. So I have copies right here. So this is on Moodle, but that first line, you want to print your name and then put your signature, your student email, and the date. You turn it in, and we'll have a record for your extra credit. So I'm going to stop the stream, and so that way we can pass out these books. Let's go like this.